You're watching Afternoon Live. Now, the head of the army says the government must invest more in the armed forces or risk falling behind potential enemies. In a speech this afternoon, General Sinead Carter says Britain can't afford to sit back while countries like Russia improve their capabilities. His comments have been approved by the Defence Secretary Gavin Williamson and come amid speculation that the military is to face more cuts. Well, let's speak now to the Conservative MP Johnny Mercer, who sits on the Commons Defence Select Committee and is a former captain in the British Army, and will know as well as I do that no head of any army has ever said they want to face more cuts. Why is this such a significant statement?
I think it's significant because he outlines how the threat is changing that we're up against. You know, I've been saying for some time that the character of conflict is changing, and the only thing that really should define our military is the enemy we're up against. I think, yes, we're paying 2%. Yes, you know, defence expenditure since 2016, is increasing. But look, the threat is intensifying. The threat is growing. The Prime Minister herself has said that. And I think in the face of these proposed reductions, I think it's the right thing to do to come out and lay out a vision of defence. That's certainly what people like me are looking for. What does defence look like in 10, 15 years' time?
But our defence, surely, when it comes to threats like Russia, it depends on NATO.
Well, of course it does. So I don't think he's trying to compare them as in a toe-to-toe battle. I think he's using it to articulate his argument that actually the threat we're facing is changing. I mean, he
says, sorry to interrupt, but what he says is the UK would struggle and is struggling in the face of an increasing power in terms of Russia. But to be frank, it's not going to be up to little old United Kingdom. We're punching above our weight, aren't we, if we think we're going to be struggling against Russia on our own?
Clearly, we would be part of NATO and that would come into play. But I think he's talking about specific sort of cyber attacks that Russia may wish to use on us. I think it's not a huge stretch to look at the way they've operated in the Ukraine and in Syria to think that they may try and use sort of new techniques in warfare to try and get at the United Kingdom, and he is articulating that threat. I don't think he's saying that we would ever go toe-to-toe with Russia. I can see how you can take that from his comments, but I don't think that's what he's insinuating. Clearly, NATO comes into play in that. But look, there are individual cases of attacks coming from countries that wish to do us harm, whether it's North Korea and the NHS, that are damaging this country, and we saw that last summer. And I think that he's right to bring this to the table, and he's right to bring this discussion out into the open.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the NHS, because in your constituency surgeries, what are they talking about? Is it lack of money for the Army and the Navy and the Air Force, or is it the NHS?
Look, I come from a military city, and it's a combination of the three. I did have someone come into my surgery last week and ask to pay more tax to pay for the NHS. The thing is, I don't think money is the answer to these things. It is part of the answer. But look, if you look at the NHS,
but that's what he's asking for. He's asking for more money.
Say again?
He's asking for more money. It is about money.
Yes, part of it is about money, but part of it is how do we change ourselves and mould ourselves to meet the challenge, which in this case is Russia and a changing face of conflict, but in the NHS is an ever-increasing demand that everybody knows about against only so much money that the government can pay for. So look, things are changing, and people look to us as politicians to try and come up with the answers.
Johnny Mercer, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.